Right now, today, someone in your life knows exactly how to make you react. They know which topic makes you defensive. They know which comment lands in your chest. They know which silence, held just long enough, will make you start talking. And they are using it. Not because they're cruel, because it works. Because every reaction you gave them was a lesson. Every time you flinched, justified yourself, or tried to stay composed and failed, you taught them exactly where the strings were attached. Today, that stops. What I'm going to show you is called strategic indifference. Not caring, but a specific psychological framework that removes the thing your reactions were signaling in the first place. At the 6-minute mark, I'm going to give you the one question that tells you whether your indifference is a sign of genuine power or a sign that something already broke you and you've been calling the damage strength ever since. Most people realize it's the second one too late. Stay with me. In social psychology, there is a concept called the law of least interest, first documented in the 1930s and confirmed repeatedly in negotiation research since. The person who is least invested in the outcome of an interaction holds the most power. Think about a car negotiation. If you need that specific car, the conversation is over before it begins. If you are genuinely, not performatively, willing to stand up and leave, you win every time. But here is what most indifference content gets completely wrong. They teach you to act less invested, to perform detachment, to seem like you don't care. That is not strategic indifference. That is a costume. And people feel the difference between a costume and the real thing immediately, because they are not feeling it consciously. Their brains are detecting it automatically. Research on social status and autonomic nervous system reactivity found that people perceived as genuinely high status show measurably less physiological response to social threats, lower cortisol spike, slower heart rate elevation. The body, not just the mind, reacts differently, and other people's mirror neuron systems are reading your nervous system's response in real time. When your indifference is real, their brain registers it as status before you've said a single word. When it's performed, they register that too. You are not building armor, you are building a signal, and the signal either exists or it doesn't. Let me ask you something honest. Think of the last time someone said something that stayed with you longer than it should have. A comment, a dismissal, a silence where you expected acknowledgement. You probably told yourself you were over it, but you went home and replayed it. You thought of the thing you should have said. You lay awake constructing the perfect response to someone who had already forgotten the conversation. That gap between the composed face you showed and the running loop in your head, that is where your buttons live. And here's what I need you to understand before we go further. The buttons are not the problem. The problem is that you didn't know they were there. Strategic indifference doesn't start with technique. It starts with honest mapping. You cannot remove a reaction you haven't located yet. So, before we get to the tools, sit with that question. What is the comment that still plays back? Who holds the string you'd most like to cut? That's your starting point. In the world of dark psychology, this is known as starving the probe. Most people call it the 3-second buffer. When someone says something designed to provoke you, your nervous system wants to fire back before you've thought. That impulse is the string pulling. The buffer is simple. When the provocation lands, you wait. 3 seconds. Not planning a response, just watching. Watch the way their mouth moves. Watch the specific look they're waiting for. The flinch, the flush, the stumble. They want evidence that it landed. In the 3 seconds of your silence, something shifts in the room. They expected a reaction. The reaction did not come. Now their brain has to recalculate. And by the time you speak, that's an interesting perspective. or simply nothing at all, the sting is already gone. Not because you suppressed it, because you outlasted the moment it needed your participation. Your reaction is the currency they use to feel powerful. Stop paying them. This is not a metaphor. This is a measurable transfer of nervous system energy. They walked away energized by the response they collected. You walked away carrying the residue of a reaction you did not choose. If you've ever felt those strings pull, hit subscribe. We're building a library of psychological tools for people who refuse to be puppets. Strategic indifference is not about caring about nothing. That is apathy. And apathy is depression disguised as peace. Strategic indifference is about ruthless, specific focus. Your goals, your health, the small number of people who have actually earned access to your full attention. That is the 1%. Everything else, the opinion of someone who doesn't know you, the drama designed to pull you in, the outrage manufactured to get a reaction, that is the 99%. You are a closed system to that 99%. It arrives, you see it, you acknowledge it exists, and you give it none of the energy it came looking for. Not because you're cold, because your energy belongs somewhere specific. And that somewhere is not here. Now, I need to stop and say the thing most content like this will never say. Some people who describe themselves as not reactive are not strategically indifferent. They are numb. There is a version of this mindset that starts as protection and becomes a prison, where someone hurt you enough that you closed off, and now you call the closing off a skill, where the wall went up so long ago that you've forgotten there was ever a door. Here is the question I promised you. When you imagine being genuinely close to someone, fully known, fully seen, without the glass wall between you, does that feel like a choice you would make freely from a place of completeness? Or does it feel like something you would have to survive? If it feels like survival, the tools in this video still belong to you, but they are sitting on top of something that deserves a different kind of attention. Because the person who is genuinely untouchable is not someone who built walls high enough. They are someone who never needed the walls in the first place. Real strategic indifference is not distance, it is completeness. When the signal is real, when indifference comes from completeness, not armor, the world responds differently. People stop probing because the probe returns nothing. They stop baiting because the bait stops working. They stop using certain tactics around you because those tactics have simply never worked around you. This happens without confrontation, without you ever explaining yourself, without a single conversation about limits. You become the person in the room whose reactions cannot be purchased. Not because you are suppressing something, because there is simply nothing there for them to grab. They taught you to manage your reactions. Nobody ever taught you to own the signal you are broadcasting. That is strategic indifference, not a mask over the puppet strings, the removal of the strings themselves. In the world of dark psychology, this is not the beginning of a skill. It is the end of a pattern. This is Mind Authority. Subscribe, because next week we go deeper into the specific signals most people broadcast without knowing they're broadcasting anything at all.